Hello. Today we are going to do some training on how to become a master closer in sales. Anybody out there in sales? I'm going to teach you how to become a master closer. I'm going to teach you how, and we're going to do several of these, training videos over time. But I'm going to teach you how to close 85 to 90% of the people you speak with without even hesitating. So, what is the most important thing about setting up for a master close? It's the presentation. It's all about the presentation. However, you can't even get to the presentation without a masterful warm-up. Its number one step is the warm-up. So let's talk today about the warm-up, and then additional videos we'll get into, closing techniques and presentations and etc. But today we're going to talk about the warm-up. What is a warm-up? A warm-up is getting somebody to feel comfortable with you. It's getting to have a conversation with somebody where they're opening themselves up to you. Now, during a warm-up, what your objective is to collect as much ammo as possible, because the stuff you learned inside of a warm-up is going to help you with your close. They're going to tell you how to close them. Who is in charge of a warm-up? The customer is in charge of the warm-up. How long does a warm-up take? It takes as long as it takes. It doesn't matter. And how do you know when a warm-up ends? Because it'll become uncomfortable. It'll be either uncomfortable for you or for the other party. So when you're going in and you're talking to somebody and you're warming up with somebody, you want to look around and you want to find things to talk about. Look in their office, look on their walls, look in their yard. What is it, something that you can talk to them about, that you can create a conversation piece off? Now, keep in mind, if they have a 5-pound fish on the wall and you have a 10-pound fish at home, your fish does not matter. However, you love the fish. That's important. And how they caught that fish is important. Where they got it, what taxidermist they went to. How long did it take them to pull it in? Even though you have a 10-pound fish on your wall or a 100-pound sales fish, it doesn't matter what you have on your wall. It's about the fish that's on their wall. Where do they go? Get them talking about that fish, because otherwise they wouldn't put that fish on the wall if they didn't want that as a conversation piece. So that is your, and you can do this for any different analogy. Let's say if somebody has, trophies in their house from soccer, or trophies from baseball. Who's in soccer? Who's in baseball? Talk to them about that. Find out if it's their children. Find out if it was them that was doing that. Talk to them about them trophies. Those are conversation pieces. They're obviously putting them out because they want to be acknowledged about those pieces that they have hung on their wall, or those pieces that they have in their yard. So you want to take your focus and narrow in on that, and you're going to keep talking about it until it gets uncomfortable. And then when it gets uncomfortable, that doesn't mean it's over with. You just find another conversation piece. You want to pick up the pieces is what you want to do. So let's say, for example, somebody has a fish on a wall. Wow, look at that fish. That thing is absolutely amazing. Where did you catch that fish at? How long did it take you to catch that fish? And what did you use to catch that fish with? How often do you go fishing? Where do you like to go fishing? Do you like deep sea fishing? Do you like freshwater fishing? You need to ask them about the fishing. The more that they talk to you, the more comfortable they become. Now, there's a fine line between when you're in a warm-up, because if you laugh too much, you're going to become their friend. And then when it comes to the closing part, they're going to say, it's okay, buddy. You know why I can't do this. You're my friend. You understand. So you want to keep you want to laugh, you want to giggle, you want to smile, you want to have fun, but there's a fine line, because it could ruin your close if you don't pay attention to that. So you're not there to make a buddy, and you're not there to be a professional visitor. You're there to help them with their problem. So you cannot find their problem and solve their problem if they're not talking. So you need to find a way to get them to talk, to get them to communicate with you. So once again, the trophy situation. They see a trophy on the wall. And you ask them, hey, wow, that's a lot of soccer trophies. Did you play soccer? No, it's my grandkid. Oh, wow. How many grandchildren do you have? How old are they? How long have they been playing for? Do you coach? Do you go to every game? Talk to them about that, because obviously they want to talk about that trophy. Otherwise, it would not be on their wall. So once again, who's in charge of the warm-up? The customer is in charge of the warm-up. How long does a warm-up take? It takes as long as it takes. You should never put a timeline on a warm-up. How do you know when a warm-up is over? Because it gets uncomfortable. When there's nothing else to ask, or you could look at the customer and say, or the customer may look at you and say, okay, what's next? What are you doing? What do we have to do next? And then at that point, the ball should always be in your court, okay? So if you're in the middle of a warm-up and a customer, tries to interrupt your warm-up, keep in mind, you want them to be in control of the warm-up, okay? They're in control of the warm-up. So if they say, yeah, I love fishing, I go all the time, thanks for asking. Anyways, what's next? What do you have to show me or what do you have to do? At that point, they're trying to push you into a presentation. They are not warmed up enough. So you need to stop there and say, yeah, I'm going to get to that. That fish is just awesome. I just had, I really wanted to learn more about that fish or more about that trophy. My kids are in soccer, so I'm learning it. It's new to me. So I'm, just trying to gain some knowledge from you. And then start talking to them about it again. Now, how do you end a warm-up? You end a warm-up by a transitional question. So let's say that you're talking about the fish and, you've been talking about this fish for 15 minutes now. You have this person talking and then, you do a transitional question. You say, so let me ask you a question. How long have you been thinking about getting a new car? Or how long you thinking about getting a new house? How long have you been thinking about buying new furniture? How long have you been thinking about putting siding on your house? How long have you been thinking about getting a new roof? That is your transitional question. They're going to say, and then you be quiet for a little bit because now you're going to get your ammunition for your close. Well, I've been thinking about it. My roof has been leaking for about 2 years. I see the shingles are pretty bad up there. You can use this analogy for any product or service out there. This technique can be used for anything. I don't care what you're selling. It doesn't matter. You can sell a product without even having knowledge on the product, all because of how you're handling the warm up and the transitional question. So how long have you been thinking about getting a new roof? Well, I've been thinking about it a couple years. I have leaks in the roof. The roof looks pretty horrible. Now you need to be quiet right now because all they're doing is selling themselves. They are closing themselves already. Now what you're going to do when it comes to the close is talk about their problems. Well, I'm glad you called me out here. I could definitely tell it needs to be replaced, and we're going to assist you. So what you're doing now is the transitional question is, how long have you been thinking about whatever the product or service is? How long have you been thinking about X, Y, Z? Once they give you the answer and you have enough ammunition, then you say the magic words. What made you decide to do something about it today? Now, you don't want to say today too many times in your presentation because you're stabbing them if you do. First of all, you only want to do it through a transitional question. That's from the warm-up into your, company story pledges or presentation, whatever you may be doing. So you want to ask, you want to mention the word today at that time period. And then you want to mention the word today in a pre-close, which we'll get into additional videos. Ladies and gentlemen, the warm-up is the most important part of your entire presentation. Now, a master close is a conclusion to a masterful presentation. So if you do a masterful warm-up and a masterful presentation, then you're preparing yourself for a master close. And you can close anybody with anything with any price. It doesn't matter what it is if you follow the same techniques. Now, you also have to believe in what you're doing, but the most important thing to do if you're in sales is I encourage you starting today to focus on your warm-up, to focus on the warm-up. And remember, it's not about you, and a customer is in control. Put that customer on a pedestal. Fill them full of ether. Make them feel good about themselves because this is only going to benefit you when it's time for your master close. Follow me, like me, and subscribe, and I'm going to give you some more master closing techniques to help you increase your closing rate to 80 to 90%. Guarantee it. I'll do it for you. I'll help you, but you have to have an open mind, and you have to practice the techniques that I'm going to present to you. Good luck out there. Close the deal, and have a great day.